Welcome back. As always, be sure to leave a comment, tell me how to improve myself. I'm always looking for improvement, and your comment will help out a ton. Also, be sure to check out my other channel, YC Games, and without further ado, let's get right into the video. Today I'm going to be asking the question, does Battleborn deserve a second chance? So, quite a few games in recent memory have kind of had a really bad start, but the developers have actually done the right thing, gone back and fixed or made better, or just changed in a way the community wanted. And it raises the question, do they deserve another chance? Battleborn is an ideal candidate for this because right now and probably forever now, the multiplayer is free, at least on PlayStation. I'm not sure about Xbox and PC. I really don't care. I just heard it's free on PlayStation. So I jumped back into it. I did play it when it first released and thought it was alright. But it definitely did go through some changes. And that's what I'm going to be emphasizing in these kind of videos, is the changes it went through. So if you haven't played the game before, you could probably just check out like someone else's review of the game when it first came out. This video is more of how the game has changed and if it's worth jumping back into, or into for the first time if you haven't yet. So let's get right into it. So like I said, I've had the game since its launch. I played it for a while when it first launched, and then I just kind of left it to the side because I had no one to play it with, and it was alright. It was fun. I think it really deserved a lot more credit than what it got when it launched. Obviously, at the time, it was overshadowed by Overwatch, which was just this huge Goliath, and was already declared the winner before either game even came out. So, the real problem with this game is just that it released at a wrong time. Either it should have been released way before Overwatch, or maybe saw what Overwatch did and waited a little bit and tried to better it, because they are completely different games, but just looking at it, they do look very similar, and it's obvious to see the similarities and really easy to draw comparisons. So that's why it kind of got left to the wayside. And while it would have been incredibly easy just to forget about it, keep the servers active for the few people that use them, but don't even try to compete, they actually did go back, they reevaluated, they tried for the longest time not to make it free. They finally had to break down and just say, alright, you can play multiplayer for free. And it's really a shame, because this game deserves payment. Like, it deserves at least $40. I'd say it's a solid $30 to $40 game for the multiplayer. The campaign, it's really nothing great. I don't even think I finished it. I haven't even touched it since it first came out, so I don't even remember how far I got, but I don't even think I finished it, and I really don't care to go back now. Now, one of the biggest differences you'll notice pretty much as soon as you boot up the game is when you try to jump into a multiplayer match. Now, instead of having the, what was it, like 2 or 3 game modes they had at launch, now there's just either quick match, 5-on-5, or 5v bots. Those are your only 2 options. And I haven't even attempted bots because that just wouldn't be very fun, because honestly the AI in this game is pretty stupid, at least for where we're supposed to be other players. So I always jump into 5-on-5, and then it is nice because instead of just throwing you into a random match, you'll at least get to vote. When you finally get 5 players on your team and you find an enemy team of 5 players, then you get to vote on a map and mode. Unfortunately, it's almost guaranteed to be Incursion, which I really am not a huge fan of. That's just the big winner here. So if you don't like Incursion, then you're gonna have to either get used to it or just not play it, because every single game that I've played so far since I jumped back into it has been Incursion. I've seen the other options there, and I usually vote for something else just to try something else. You're not gonna get it. It's always Incursion. Now, depending on how long you have been gone, they actually did add a new mode called Face Off. I enjoy it. It's not great. I mean, like I said, it's very rare to even get a game of it because everyone just picks Incursion. It's really fun. Basically, you just go around, kill the Virelsi, I think are what they called, which are just the enemies you fight in the campaign. and you take their masks, and you collect the masks, and you gotta take them to like a central dumping thing. And if you die, you lose them. It's really a simple mode. It's a lot of fun. It's not as tactical as like Incursion, which is probably why it doesn't get picked as much. But it's fun for a game mode.
Raw mercenary camp engaged.
Now they did change the look of the character selection screen, but I'm not gonna go into what they changed the look of because a lot of menus look different, and that's gonna go with pretty much any game. After a couple years, I usually change the UI in some way, like minor or major, doesn't make a difference. But there's a few notable differences on the character selection screen. First of all, instead of just a big long list of all the Battleborn, they are now in categories, which is really nice. I don't remember all the categories. I want to say just the basics like attacker, tank, medic, healer, whatever you want to call it. And I don't remember what they were, but they are in categories, which is a lot nicer, especially for newer players that are used to the type of game, but not necessarily the Battleborn. Because with just the big long list, it's pretty intimidating, like, I don't remember which one's which. So it's a lot nicer to at least somewhat know what you're getting into when you start a match. They also added a little button so you can kind of display what character you're gonna pick without actually picking it yet, which sounds pretty stupid, but it actually is kind of nice, especially if you know, your team doesn't have a mic, so you can kind of say, hey, I'm gonna be like Montana, so it'll kind of show your team, alright, you're gonna need a healer, so you know, probably someone should pick Miko or something without actually confirming him. Because let's say, alright, I want to be Montana, so I star Montana saying, hey, I'm gonna be Montana, and no one picks Miko, or even like Alani, which is a DLC healer. You know, just no one good to give you consistent health. So then, like, alright, I can't be Montana. But if you were locked in, which originally you had to lock in to even show what you were looking at, then you're just stuck. And being Montana without a good healer it's tough. Obviously, if you've played the game before, you would know that. And if you haven't, well, wait to watch this video before I told you. It probably won't make any sense anyway. Moving on. Speaking of Alani, let's go over some of the DLC characters. I don't know which order they came out at, because like I said, I kind of just left the game and came back. I'm not even sure if all these are DLC characters. These are the characters I don't remember being in it originally. Alani's one of them. She's a healer. I liked her when I first started using her, but then I kind of, I don't know, they must have like nerfed her, or just I had lost touch on how to use her. She's a very weird healer. Basically, she shoots things, and if she gets a hit marker, she gets these little healing balls, and she gives them to someone else, or give it to herself for like half the health. She's alright, I guess. There's Ernest, which is basically just a chicken with a grenade launcher. That's about all I know about him. There's Kid Ultra, who is, honestly, I genuinely believe, supposed to be a meme. I don't. Then again, a lot of these characters are. But I've used him a couple times. I'm not a fan. I really don't remember what he does. But yeah, he's just annoying and weird. And there's Pendles. Fuck you if you use Pendles. I hate that goddamn lizard. And if you notice, there's one on the other team in this gameplay, but he's not very good, and he leaves like halfway through, so it's an AI. So he's really not very good. But if you're against a good Pendles, it's really hard to counter him because he has the most annoying everything. Like, his whole thing is just turning invisible, sneaking up behind you, slashing the hell out of your ass. And as soon as you turn around to fight him, he just like throws down a smoke, which instantly turns him invisible, runs away, and then you're stuck in a cloud of dust that does damage and makes you slow. Oh my god, everything about him just really pisses me off. But I guess he's so unbalanced, and he might have been nerfed before, but he's just such a pain in the ass. I don't know. I hate going up against him. I really don't know what else they added other than, you know, the characters, obviously, game modes. The game modes came with a couple other, or the game mode, sorry, Face Off, came out with a couple more maps, like specifically for that mode. Oh, they did add some skins. A few of them are Borderlands, like Alani, the one character, can be Maya. The one really freaky farm lady that was like from the start of the game can be Tiny Tina, and one of the other guys can be Claptrap. That's all the ones I found, but I don't know, there could be more. Unfortunately, right now, it's a pretty small community and player base. I really hope that, you know, since it's free now, obviously there will be more players, and I really hope it grows and gets the recognition it deserves. But as of right now, it does take a little bit to find a match. Not super long. I actually have noticed the wait time getting shorter since I first jumped back into it to now, after it's been free for, I don't know, a couple weeks now, I think. I definitely have noticed shorter wait times, so it's definitely growing, and that's good in that regard, so you don't have to wait as long for a match. I'm also actually surprised, because I assumed that, you know, especially when I first jumped back into it, that it would be just full of players that would have been playing it since the beginning and are now experts, and would just get really mad at me for, you know, being a bad teammate, just because I'm not good anymore yet, or whatever you want to call it. Also, I would just get completely wrecked by the other team, but I really haven't noticed that. I'm not great at the game, as you can see, obviously, but I still do fairly well, I would say, at least. Also, unfortunately, I haven't noticed a lot of people with mics anymore. I do remember when I first played this game, you know, every match I would come across someone else with a mic, and, you know, I'd talk to them, I'd join them for a couple more matches, and, you know, I'd make some pretty good PlayStation friends with it that way. Unfortunately, I haven't noticed that anymore. I'm assuming since it's free now, people just get their own friends, and they just play that way. So, you know, in their own parties, they don't have to use game chat. And that kind of sucks, because this is definitely one of those games where team communication helps a lot, and obviously a team of friends are going to work a lot better than a team of strangers. But a team of strangers with mic support would definitely work a lot better than a team of strangers without it. So it sucks. I haven't noticed a lot of people on the mics. But yeah, that's just right now. Who knows? Maybe if it's free and more people join, more people will start talking.
Enemies have engaged with Thrall mercenaries.
That's about it. There's really nothing more to say. I can't definitively tell you if it's worth jumping back into it. That's not what these videos are about. These are just giving you the changes I've noticed, my opinion. I personally think it's worth jumping back into, especially now it's free. You know, get some friends to join in. I'm hoping you know, telling my friends, like, hey, just try it, it's free. So I'll definitely be playing it more. And yeah, why not? Talk your friends into playing it. It's worth another try. Definitely not worth paying the extra money for the campaign, because the campaign just was never really worth it for me. Like I said, I didn't finish it, and it's really not even that long. But the multiplayer is definitely fun, at least for a little bit. It does take a little bit getting used to. You know, there's a character out there for everyone, for every play style, so it just maybe takes a while to find whatever one suits you. But I can't make a decision for you. That's just what I've noticed changed, a little bit in my opinion. And yeah, that's it. Be sure to leave a comment telling me I improved myself. I'm always looking for improvement. Your comment helps out a ton. If there are any other games you think deserve, you know, a second chance, leave in the comments. Tell me. I'll look into it. And yeah, check out my channel, YC Games. And that's it. Keep your stick on the ice. We're all in this together.